Hi, this is Joe Walensky, Program Manager for the ConveyUX conference coming up in Seattle in January, and I'm talking with some of the speakers who will be at the presentation, or who will be at the event, and I'm talking right now with Danielle Malik. Hello, Danielle.
Hi there.
Where are you talking to us from today?
I am in Castro Valley, in my home in Castro Valley, which is in the Bay Area and near San Francisco.
All right, well, thanks for being part of the conference and also taking part in this short interview. Why don't we start out by you talking a little bit about things that you've been involved with, things you're involved with now, types of work that you do?
Great. So I actually just started a new gig at General Assembly. I will be teaching their UX intensive program, which is a 10-week program that really covers the entire spectrum of the UX practice. And it is 9 to 5 for 10 weeks, and so it's a very intensive program. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it really gives me the opportunity to kind of revisit all of the parts of my process, kind of go back through my entire body of work and see, not only where I have some great examples, but also where I've grown a lot. It's really fun to see your mistakes as well. And prior to that, I was at Facebook. I was both a product design manager and also a product designer. Tried being a individual contributor there as well, and I led projects in the commerce and payments area there. So lots of different times in my career I've been involved in products dealing with money. So financial services, commerce products, those sorts of things have been of interest to me in my career overall. And then prior to that, I was leading the UX team at Hot Studio, which was acquired by Facebook, which was part of how I ended up there. So,
Well, on a day-to-day basis, we all have things that we're particularly interested in and that consume our days. Are there any certain techniques or processes that you found yourself spending a lot of time on before you got into your this new teaching area?
yeah, I would say that throughout my career, prototyping has always been there, but there are a lot more products now that make it a lot easier and a lot more fun to make pretty kick-ass prototypes that are pretty robust in nature. And so I've definitely had a lot of fun with that. I would also say spent a lot of time working with Sketch, which is kind of a like Illustrator Photoshop combination, and I really fell in love with that as well. And it's funny when I meet other people who use Sketch and love it like I do. There tends to be kind of a real evangelism, like Kool-Aid feeling. I'm not sure what that's about, but I was kind of dogmatic about fireworks back in the day, so I guess maybe it's just my personality. Yeah, so both of those tools I feel have really kind of expanded my practice and also really enable me to do things a lot faster these days.
Well, the topic that you're going to be presenting at the conference has a pretty interesting title. Go home, data. You're drunk. So, what's that all about? What brought you to putting that presentation together?
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it felt like was, kind of a deep-seated urge to discredit and shame data. Uh, I've been working in the field for over a dozen years at this point, and before not everyone had access to data. It wasn't a regular part of our practice, but now pretty much everyone uses analytics in some form. They're taking measurements and they're using A/B testing, and sometimes it can feel like the presence of data can trump or kind of overpower a design process. And I was interested in talking with colleagues about that and kind of hearing their stories as well. But then trying to fortify my own argument about when design is really better suited toward a particular task. What are the limitations of data, and how to make a strong case for a design-driven process rather than a data-driven one where appropriate. So that led me on that journey, and it's been pretty fun. I'm pretty passionate about the topic.
Have you had any have you had any feedback on this topic? Any anything from the community with respect to either support or contrasting opinions to your thoughts on this?
I feel like in general, there's been a lot of support, a lot of designers willing to commiserate with me on the topic. That it's sometimes it just feels like data is this all-knowing, all-powerful thing that it's very hard to stand up to. And coming from Facebook, that was especially true because we have access to so much data, and we can run if we're interested in finding out if something works, with a user base of over 2 billion people, a 1% test is I'm forgetting like 100 million people. So it's hard to argue with the statistical significance of that. And really trying the talk to provide practical approaches to this. It's not just theoretical, although I will say that another thing that really fascinates me is where all of this data is taking us. Like, what are the ramifications of our data-filled lives, and all of the data that's sitting out there about us.
And in terms of how you're moving forward with your work with respect to your thoughts on data, is that result in any new thinking about how you do your work and how you're going to be moving forward?
Yes, definitely. I think now I feel like I have a better ability to recognize where data is most appropriate and which processes, but also this exploration has given me a lot more sensitivity about the kinds of data we collect and the sorts of situations we'll be faced with in the future about sensitive data and user behaviors, and how we as designers will be confronted with ethical arguments as well in the future with regards to data.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time to talk with me about these things, and look forward to seeing you in Seattle in a few weeks.
Thanks so much, Joe.
All right, thanks, Danielle.